Live from downtown Detroit, Local 4 News at 6 starts now.
And it has been a pretty calm Friday, but Paul tracking some wet weather moving through and more rain in the weekend forecast. Good to have you with us tonight. We start things off here at 6 with some rain, which we have been needing without drama, if we can get it that way, right?
That's right. And that weather is actually arriving right now. So let's get over to Paulie to see how we're looking. Hi, Paul.
Yeah, hey there, and we are at least dry for most of us. You can see west of US 23 is where the rain is, so let's zoom in on some of that and see who's getting it and who's not. And you can see not made it to the Brighton area yet, but we should be getting some raindrops now in Howell, Fowlerville, over to Pinckney, and taking the map farther to the south. You can see in western Washtenaw County there, Chelsea, you're getting some rain. Not quite to Scioto Township yet. Ann Arbor not getting it yet either, but Manchester, you're getting some of the rain. So again, this stuff's all out to the west here, and we're not seeing anything violent in here. In fact, I'm looking carefully. I don't see any lightning in here either. So this is good, beneficial rain if we can get enough of it. I mean, we need a good soaker. This won't be a soaker, but it'll be at least something that'll help. All right, right now, we're looking at pretty quiet conditions there in Ann Arbor. It's cloudy, as you would expect, with the rain knocking on the door. Mid to upper 70s across the area. Dew points are low, but they're starting to come up. We're seeing more of these mid to upper 50s now, such as Ann Arbor and over to Monroe. So that's going to allow some of that rain to fall from the clouds and reach the ground. And just a slow drop in temperature through the evening hours. You can see by 10 o'clock, we're still in the low 70s, even by midnight in the low 70s, and we're only going to drop into the mid 60s tonight. I will be back to talk about the timing of our weekend rain. I'm getting a better handle on that in just a few minutes. But right now, I want to remind you of the Local Forecasters app. That QR code on the screen, you just put your cell phone right up to that. You can scan it. It takes you right to the spot where you can download the nation's best weather app, and you might need that real-time radar this weekend. I'll see you back here in a few minutes, guys.
All right, Paul. A local woman in a long battle with a cemetery that still has not put the finishing touches on the marker for her parents' remains.
Yeah, the battle goes back more than 20 years, and finally this family called Help Me Hank. Consumer investigator Hank Winchester showed up to make sure the final resting spot for this couple is completed.
I wanted to bring you into the mausoleum to show you the problem. Take a look up here, the Peterson marker. There's Charles and the date of his birth and death, but nothing for his wife, and she passed away way back in 2002. This has been paid for decades. And the family, well, they want information, and they want closure.
Yeah, it's like, come on. You know, this has been 20 years, come on.
Sig Reichardt wants answers, and more importantly, she needs closure. Is it upsetting to you that it's been this long?
Well, yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's paid for.
Her parents' marker here at Detroit's historic Woodlawn Cemetery remains incomplete. Her mother died in 2002, and for years, she says, she's been told the engraving will happen soon. It never happened. Even today, as we walk the halls of the mausoleum, you can see nothing has changed. That's your father's and your mother's. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
See, there's nothing there.
So today I went with Sig to the cemetery office searching for answers. What in the world is taking so long? Your mother passed away 20 years ago?
Yes.
Her marker is still not engraved, and it's been paid for decades. We're trying to find out why. We were asked to stop filming inside the office, so I sat with Sig, waiting to learn more. And what we know for sure is that this family is hurting, their loved one's final resting place incomplete. And we're going to make sure this gets handled. Back out here live, I did just receive a statement from the cemetery. It reads, "We reached out to our engraver again today, and the front has been removed to expedite the engraving process. Our team anticipates the order to be completed in the next 2 weeks based on current estimates. This vendor had confirmed it is experiencing a backlog of orders because of supply chain issues combined with high demand, which has been a common theme since the start of the pandemic. Woodlawn Cemetery will continue to improve our process of communicating with families." So the great news in all of this, that sounds like it's going to be taken care of within 2 weeks. As for why it took more than 20 years, management also shared with me that they did have ownership changes, and unfortunately it appears that they just kind of slipped through the cracks, but completely unacceptable. We are happy now that it's being addressed once and for all. We're live here tonight. Hank Winchester, Help Me Hank, back to you.
And no, Sig is happy too. Hank, we appreciate it.
Now to the prayer vigil this afternoon for fallen officer Lauren Courts. He was remembered during a vigil at DPD's 2nd Precinct, which was his home precinct. The death of the officer highlighting the dangerous work police face on the streets every single day. The vigil drew a lot of people who never met Officer Courts, but came because they just wanted to show their support. Those who did know him well, such as DPD's assistant chief, struck a positive tone in their remembrances.
I knew this young man. I worked with his father for many, many years. And Lauren is a jokester because Larry is a jokester. So it just keeps hurting and hurting. So how do I grieve? How do I tell a whole group here how to grieve? I don't know. I think about what grief is. Grief is a really, really heavy emotion. You know what else is a heavy emotion? Love. And I'm going to choose love over grief right now.
Here are the funeral arrangements for Officer Courts. Everything's going to take place at Greater Grace Temple in Detroit. Public visitation coming up tomorrow. That'll be from noon until 8 p.m. Sunday, 3 p.m. until 9 p.m. And then the funeral is set for Monday, July 18th at 11:30 a.m. Governor Whitmer has ordered flags across the state to be lowered to half-staff on Monday in honor of Officer Courts.
The U.S. House of Representatives passes 2 measures aimed at protecting abortion access nationwide. The Women's Health Protection Act passed largely along party lines by a vote of 219 to 210. It will codify abortion rights protections into federal law. The legislation will now head to the Senate, where it previously failed. The House also passed a second bill, the Ensuring Access to Abortion Act, by a vote of 223 to 205, which prohibits punishment for individuals who travel out of state for reproductive health care. This is the Democrats' first legislative response since the Supreme Court overturned Roe v. Wade. The vote comes as state governors and legislators grapple with the impacts of the court's ruling. Of course, Michigan is no exception, especially when it comes to international travel into Canada. Our Grant Herms is live for us tonight at the site of the new Gordie Howe Bridge, where there was a special visit from the head of the Border Control. Grant.
Yeah, Kimberly, you know, abortion wasn't the topic of that visit today, but it was front and center, especially as you look out at this new bridge being built that will be home to a lot of trade and travel that may be in the very near future, people crossing into Canada for abortion care. An update on the progress of Detroit's Gordie Howe Bridge and Welcome Center, which is slated to open in 2024. During a visit today with Senator Gary Peters, the Customs and Border Patrol Commissioner, saying the bridge will be state-of-the-art with the ability to take some of the pressure off the Ambassador Bridge, the Detroit Tunnel, and the Blue Water Bridge in Port Huron, especially after supply chain issues and protests last year caused major shutdowns to some of North America's busiest travel routes.
If Michigan were a country, we would be the second largest trading partner to Canada. That's how much business comes across these ports of entry and come into our economy.
But also looming in the background, Governor Whitmer's request for clarification from the FDA and Border Patrol on how people crossing back and forth across the border for abortion care or with abortion medication would be treated. The commissioner today saying there was no final decision.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm not party to those conversations at this time, and really I'm not here to address that today. But I understand that's a concern, and I'm sure there'll be more to come about that in the future.
Now, after the visit, a Border Patrol spokesperson told me that really this decision is up to the FDA. They're just going to enforce whatever comes down from the FDA at the border crossings. But for now, no final decision has been made. Back to you.
Yeah, okay. Grant, thank you.
Just ahead on ABC Nightly News, doctors across the country continuing to cope with the new abortion laws.
Yeah, the new legal landscape means doctors might have to choose between saving a life or going to prison. Kristen Dahlgren spoke with a woman who faced a tragic diagnosis during her pregnancy.
Do you feel like you had any other choice? Abortion or death. Those were my options, and I was prepared for both.
Ahead at 6:30 on NBC Nightly News with Lester Holt, what some states are doing to restrict doctors. A Metro Detroit credit union, along with the FBI and 4 local police agencies, are looking for some crafty thieves.
They attack automatic teller machines all across the area with brute force and pretty quick timing. Local 4 tonight bringing you this exclusive first look at how these robbers are getting away with the cash. Rod Maloney has this report from Milford. Rod.
So this theft happened over a week ago here in Milford. The police tape still up, the markings from where the ATM was destroyed still on the ground, and it turns out it's going to be months before they can get this back to normal. Milford PD pictures show us the July 6th theft. The ATM pulled over on its side and emptied. The thieves in and out in under 6 minutes. Today, there's rubber still on the ground there. Community Choice Credit Union Marketing Director Jenny Ludwigson telling Local 4 they target so-called island machines.
It's more difficult for machines that are built into walls, for example, or machines that are built into structures.
They've hit 4 communities so far, getting at least $26,000 from successful Milford and Troy thefts. They ran away empty-handed from the Royal Oak and Livonia attempts. Here's the video of the April Livonia try. A stolen heavy-duty pickup backs up to the machine. One guy attaches hooks and chains, and they pull the machine over. In this case, though, the catch doors fell face down. The machine too heavy to lift, so they quickly ran away to another getaway car. Milford Police Detective Chris Lapari saying late-night drivers should watch out for these guys.
Once they're stolen, they are loading up the chains ahead of time. So if somebody sees a heavy-duty pickup truck with chains hanging off the back, driving around, midnight, 2 in the morning, they need to call their local police department and let them know right away.
We're exposed to the supply chain issues, just like everyone else when it comes to replacing these machines. Right now, the lead time to get a machine that's been destroyed back up and running is 60 to 90 days.
Now, one thing we do know is that this group doesn't appear to be local, but they're not sure because this is happening in other places. But we did get word tonight that there is the possibility that in the Troy theft, they think they found a suspect. We'll keep you updated. Back to you.
Sure will. All right, Rod.
A Lyft driver is arrested in Troy for driving while intoxicated with a paying passenger in the car.
Yeah, Troy police say a Detroit woman was pulled over back on July 2nd, driving the area of Rochester Road and Player Drive. Police tell us the driver was seen making a number of traffic infractions. 38-year-old woman reportedly told police she was a Lyft driver and admitted to having had 2 beers before getting behind the wheel. Well, police say she had a blood alcohol level of 0.18. So over twice the legal limit. So she was arrested. The Lyft passenger was taken home safely by police.